Good morning to everyone. Thank you for coming to our first HSbooster gaming session. Today we are going to have a training and gaming session and play the serious smiling game. I would like to share with you just the first some information. This is a plenary session which is going to give you some answers on your question how to play this game and housekeeping. We will record only first part this plenary session, but the session with players and participants in the group will not be recorded. So please do not activate your microphones or video unless the host give you permission. So basically, today we are here to play serious smiling game. What is serious smiling game? The serious smiling game is a role-playing game or simulation game which stimulates discussion in the ad hoc working group in the imaginary Organization for Standardization, OFS. So this game aims to develop player skills related to argumentation, strategic positioning, building compromise, and common understanding. This game is developed by HSbooster and House of Knowledge. And first of all, I would like to share with you some theoretical backgrounds. Basically, what is the argument? So argument is a reason or a set of reasons which supports your idea or action. Strategic positioning reflects organization choices. Please be aware that strategic positioning is not choosing one point to be, but a set of the points. It is finding, answering the question, was in that for your organization? Common understanding is important for future dialogue, debate, and action, which should be effective. So, advice at the beginning: seek first to understand, then to be understanding. So, why role playing? Why we are doing role playing? Role play is basically teaching and learning method. Role-playing is effective learning method for adult trainings because it increasing learner retention, provides hands-on training, and enables better teamwork and communication. However, if I say that standard is construct that was created by meaningful, reasonable, and collective choice that enables agreement regarding the solution of existing problem, then it's all about people and their skills of communication, negotiation, and let's say something we will train today. Please be aware that in this game, you are actor. You have a role in standardization. You will represent organization, specific organization, and take one role. But every role represents the interest of company organization from which you are come and which you are represent, national interest and values, professional ethics and integrity, and personal integrity and values. But please be aware that all participants must respect rules and code of conducts of OFC. You will see who is OFC. So, but please, this is disclaimer. This is educational game. All roles are imaginary. The Organization for Standardization, OFS, is imaginary organization. The game context is a work of fiction and is intended to be used only for educational purposes. Any similarities to persons living or dead organization or actual events are purely coincidental. So the game has, let's say, 4 parts. First is introduction, and second is game intro, third is gaming, and fourth is wrap up. Now I will invite Magnus Hwag from House of Knowledge to help us and introduce us with the gaming platform. Magnus, can you continue, please?
Yes, thank you. So good morning all and welcome. So what you now see on the screen is the first thing you will see when you enter the URL code we will give you in a second. When you enter the URL into your browser, and then do not leave Zoom because we need Zoom to, well, share picture and video, and we will play the game on this platform. Take the URL, put it in your browser and click enter. You will see the screen. You see the play button in the center of the logo. Click the logo. You could change my slide, Nirvana.
Yes, please.
And then you will get this screen. You'll have to wait for a few seconds so it loads it, depending on your Wi-Fi situation. It might take some seconds. And you will see that enter room code. We will give you the room code when you have entered the breakout session, and it's specific to the specific breakout session. So we'll give you that later on. So you enter the room code to connect you with the game. You go to the next slide, please. Now, when you enter, you could see the picture on the left. Before we start and welcome, we will read out some information, get to know the people we are meeting, and we'll just introduce the game, meaning you click the big button at the bottom when the facilitator tells you to. And we do that twice, but only when told to. So when the facilitator, which means me, Ivana, Biljana, or Anna, tells you to, please click the when ready, click here button, click the when ready here button, but not before we tell you. So we know that everybody is at the same stage in the game. That is essential. So first we read before we start, we get to know each other, get to know a bit more on the game. We click the when ready, click here button before we start the game, and then we do the same, and we could go to the next slide. Then we come to the screen on my left, which is we are now going to choose the player. So there are 5 different characters you could choose between. You click one and then you can't redo it, and you could see that it gets lightened out for the others, and you could see that on the picture on the right. It is a green check mark stating that this is you. And when everybody's gone gray, the facilitator will ask you to click the start game button, but not before we could see that everybody, and we have 1 player for each of the characters. We could go to the next slide. When you then have clicked the button, please stop. So when you then have clicked the button, you will start with this screen, just explaining what you're looking at. And you can see that we have information arrows explaining what will happen inside of the game. And it shows that there is a button at the bottom, next turn button. This is a button you will only click when told to by the facilitator, which is me, Ivana, Biljana, or Anna, but only when told to. Then you will enter the first part of the game. You could also see that it says player notes on the upper right and on the right side, statement and arguments. This is where you could place your notes inside of the game, and they are personal and private. If you have to re-enter the game, they are stored in your browser. We can use the next slide, Ivana, please. If you, for some reason, get disconnected from the game, and that may actually happen, your Wi-Fi fall out, you got a power circuit or whatever, you need to restart. When you restart the game, meaning you are re-entering the URL code in the browser, you'll be thrown to this screen instead, and not the starting screen. Please click the continue game, and then you will continue the game. And then you'll go back to the previous screen, which shows you where all the arrows. If you click the new game, you'll have to, well, click the URL once more. We could go to the next slide, Ivana. Now, then we've entered into the game again, and now we move forward. When we are in round 8, you get the opportunities to interact with the other players. We start out with where you could see the red 1 on the upper left. That's the gaming canvas. It's where we will interact with the other players, stating our statements and, well, negotiating with the other players. If you could see down to the left of the one, there is an area, click to add. If you click to add, we could move to number 2, which is on the bottom left. You can see that it pops up a sticky note or a post-it, a digital post-it, which corresponds to your character. So if you're Sultan, it will state Sultan on a sticky, and Zun if you're Zun, and so on. Then you just write whatever you like to put on the sticky, and you drag it to the canvas area, meaning the area where you can see the, and then you move to the upper right, the 3. You can move it into the this area. You click, you drag, you let go of the mouse button, and you move the sticky. If you want to change the text of your sticky, you double click with the left button of your mouse. And if you can see on the 4, it gets larger, and you could re-enter your text, amend your text, or you could use it to get the text larger. The interesting part is that you could add as much text as you feel, and then you could scroll inside of the sticky if you add too much. But please note that the other players can only see what's been shown on the small sticky. And that is the basic introduction. You can see on the right side, player notes and statements and arguments. That's where you can make your notes to prepare yourself for the game. And when you're told to, you can click the next turn button at the right bottom of the screen. We'll give you more instructions inside the game. All of this will also be instructed in the game, but we'd like to give you a heads up first, so you recognize it when we get there. And it's easier to us to guide you if you fall out. We could go to the next slide, or I believe this might have been the last slide. Yes, that is it.
Thank you, Magnus. And now, Yuli, who is going to share the group?
I'm just making one more comment. When we have a recording in this plenary session. When we're in the game, in the breakout sessions, there's no recording. Mm-hmm. When we're back in the plenary at the end, meaning the last card, it will be recorded again, because that's the wrap-up. That's where we exchange perspectives and learning. That part will be recorded, but not in the game. We have to be 5 players per team to make sure that we got an even discussion. So we are going to, if you don't have enough people, the facilitators will join as one of the players. Be assigned to the room with 5 external players as facilitators. Ivana and Biljana will be assigned to the same room, and they choose who will facilitate and who will be a player. Ivana will be assigned to one room, and she will be a player and facilitator. And then we just use the corresponding code to the room. So if you are in room 1, R1, room 2, R2, room 3, R3, just for the purpose of assisting us facilitators.
Okay, with that, we will open the breakout rooms now and enjoy the game.
Thank you.